Today's social media world is dominated by industry giants like Facebook and Instagram. But there is another social media platform that is just as big as Facebook or Instagram: WhatsApp. WhatsApp is a free instant messaging platform that allows people to connect with friends and family from any phone, anywhere on the planet. With over 2 billion users worldwide, WhatsApp is the most used social media platform on the planet today. Although WhatsApp is a global social media powerhouse today, its origins are rather very humble. Before 2009, WhatsApp was still a recently conceived brainchild of Jan Koum. At that time, both the Apple and Google Play stores were still in their infancy. Yet, WhatsApp bore so much potential that when it started experiencing setbacks in the early days of its launch, the founder, Jan Koum, seriously considered quitting WhatsApp and getting a job. It took a conversation with his longtime friend and future partner at WhatsApp, Brian Acton, to convince him to stay the course. Thankfully, he took his friend's advice. Today, WhatsApp rakes in an average of $5 billion in revenue. But before we look at how WhatsApp got to where it is today, let's first go back to the early beginning, before WhatsApp was even a dream. Jan Koum was born on the 24th of February, 1976, in a small village in Kyiv, Ukraine. His father was a construction manager who built schools and hospitals, while his mother was a housewife. At that time, the Soviet Union was still in existence. The waves of anti-Semitism that existed in Eastern Europe made life very difficult for the Koums, who were also Jewish. His parents were poor. They couldn't afford basic home amenities like hot water. His parents were afraid that the government had tapped their phones, so they would rarely speak to each other on the phone. At some point, the anti-Semitism had become unbearable, and Jan's family decided it was time to immigrate. In 1992, when Jan was just 16 years old, he moved to America with his mother. They were fortunate to receive government assistance, which they used to purchase a small 2-bedroom home. Jan's father was still in Ukraine at the time. He planned to immigrate later, but was unable to, as he died of disease shortly after they had traveled. Despite the government assistance, life was still going to be tough for Jan and his mother. To make ends meet, Jan had to take a cleaning job in a grocery store, while his mother became a babysitter. Jan's mother wasn't going to take his education lightly, so she brought a stack of books and a pen along with her into the United States, because she knew that she wouldn't be able to pay for school supplies. For young Jan, life was about to swing a devastating blow. His mother, who was now taking care of him alone, was diagnosed with cancer. This greatly reduced her income and led to her and Jan relying on her disability allowance. They were also more dependent on the government for help. They would receive food stamps, welfare, government housing, etc. Despite growing up with little, Jan had lots of work ethic and discipline. As a poor immigrant teenager living on food stamps and government welfare, Jan refused to accept this sort of life for himself. For someone of his status, getting out of poverty was always going to be hard work, and Jan was not one to shy away from hard work. Jan, who was already a cleaner at a grocery store, quickly learned programming just a few years after moving to the US. He was self-taught, but his extraordinary dedication made sure that he rose to the top quickly. Soon, he was good enough to join the elite hacking group known as Woo Woo. He then pursued a degree at the San Jose State University. While at college, he took up a second job. He worked as a security tester at the Ernst & Young security firm. One day, he went over to Yahoo to inspect the company's advertising systems. Across the desk from him sat a young man named Brian Acton. For Jan Koum, this was a chance meeting, as Brian Acton would later become one of his closest friends and also a co-founder on their future startup. For now, he was here just to check the company's advertising system, completely unaware that Yahoo was where he would soon spend the next decade of his life. Brian Acton was born on the 17th of February, 1972, in Michigan, Florida. His mother was in charge of a freight shipping company, and she was the one who would inspire him to open his own business some years later. He grew up in Michigan, Central Florida, where he attended the Lake Howell High School for 4 years. He then proceeded to the University of Pennsylvania, where he got a scholarship to study engineering. A year later, he moved on to Stanford University to study computer science. By 1992, he was employed as a systems administrator for ROCKWELL International. Soon, he joined Apple Inc. and Adobe Systems as a product tester. By 1994, he was done with the university and he graduated with a degree in computer science. In 1996, he joined Yahoo. Little did he know that it was at Yahoo that he would meet his future close friend and business partner, and together they would create something wonderful. Jan Koum had visited Yahoo to test their advertising services, and that is where he met Brian Acton. The duo immediately hit it off. 6 months later, Jan Koum joined Yahoo as an infrastructure engineer. 2 weeks into his job, the company had an emergency while Jan was attending lectures. His boss called and asked where he was, and Jan replied that he was in a lecture. His boss ordered him to report to the office immediately. Koum obeyed. He also used that opportunity to drop out of school. Now at Yahoo full-time, the duo would spend the next 9 years of their lives at Yahoo. Their friendship grew stronger as they frequently played soccer, frisbee, and went skiing together. The next 9 years would hold a lot of ups and downs for the two friends. Brian invested in the dot-com boom. The bust in 2000 caused him to lose millions of dollars. Jan Koum lost his mother to cancer in 2000. Thankfully, his friendship with Brian offered a strong pillar of support in these troubling times. By 2007, Jan and Brian had become disenchanted with their jobs at Yahoo. They quit and took a year to relax by touring South America. January 2009 was a special month for Koum. He had just bought an iPhone. He then realized that the recently developed App Store was about to create a new industry for mobile apps. Koum then visited a man named Alex Fishman, and both of them discussed plans for a new instant messaging app. Koum showed Fishman his address book and suggested to Fishman that it would be cool to have statuses next to individual names of the people. The statuses would show if you were on a call, your battery was low, or you were at the gym. Jan would handle the back end, but he still needed iPhone developers. Fishman then linked Jan Koum to a Russian developer named Igor Solomnikov. Jan chose the name WhatsApp because it sounded a lot like What's Up. Just a week later, Koum incorporated WhatsApp Inc. After incorporating the company, Koum started writing the app's code. Koum spent many hours writing a code that allowed his app to sync with any phone number on the planet. At first, the app kept crashing. Koum would continuously update the app trying to fix every bug. But things weren't moving as quickly as Koum had wanted. Koum considered giving up. He discussed quitting with his close pal, Brian Acton, over a game of frisbee. Brian heard Koum's plan to quit and get a job. His response was simple: "You'd be an idiot to quit now. Just give it a few more months." And that's what Koum did. He gave it a few more months. Luckily, that was enough. Apple launched push notifications in mid-2009. Koum then tweaked WhatsApp a bit so it would show everyone in your contact list whenever you changed your status. From then on, Jan Koum decided WhatsApp was best as an instant messaging app. After making a few tweaks, he released WhatsApp 2.0. The new WhatsApp had a messaging feature. After the new update, WhatsApp's active users immediately grew to 250,000. Soon enough, Brian joined the WhatsApp team. Now, with Brian on board, WhatsApp was set for rapid growth. By October 2009, Brian was able to convince a few of his buddies from Yahoo to invest $250,000 into WhatsApp. By November 2009, the app was launched officially. Koum decided that WhatsApp was going to go global early on. Shortly after launching on the Apple Store, WhatsApp released a BlackBerry version. A year later, WhatsApp had been added to Symbian and Android operating systems. At first, WhatsApp was free. But as the user base grew, so did the cost of sending verification texts to users. WhatsApp then changed to a paid subscription model that costs $1 per year. By 2011, WhatsApp was among the top-ranking apps on the Apple Store. Over the next 2 years, WhatsApp received $58 million in investment from Sequoia Capital. Over that time, WhatsApp's user base grew to 400 million active users per month. Now, WhatsApp was growing rapidly, and Facebook decided that it wanted a piece of the action. After some closed-door negotiations, Facebook purchased WhatsApp for $19 billion. WhatsApp remains Facebook's biggest acquisition to date. By August 2014, WhatsApp had become the most popular app on the planet. By January 2015, WhatsApp now boasted 700 million monthly users and more than 30 billion messages being shared every day. Only a year later, WhatsApp had reached 1 billion users. but the founders decided the action was about to come to an end. In September 2016, Brian Acton left WhatsApp to start a non-profit organization. A year later, Jan Koum followed suit. Both co-founders have supported different charity and aid foundations since they left WhatsApp. The story of how WhatsApp came to be is beautiful, especially when you add the stories of the founders and the challenges they faced as they built WhatsApp. Jan Koum especially shows us the value of hard work, determination, and persistence. As an immigrant who escaped anti-Semitism in his hometown, Jan Koum made something of himself through hard work and determination. He taught himself how to code, became good enough to become a member of the esteemed ethical hacking group, WooWoo. He showed his hardworking and persistent spirit when he was writing the code for WhatsApp. Despite many crashes and setbacks, Jan stayed persistent, constantly reworking the code, knowing that someday things would work out for him. And things did. For more inspirational stories about the world's most successful founders and CEOs, make sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel.